Greetings, happy coders. Welcome to another video. I hope you're all doing well. Excuse me. As you can see, this is not Space Invaders, as I promised. Instead, I ran into quite a nasty bug. Not me personally, I'm absolutely fine and healthy. In the game, I ran into a nasty bug in Space Invaders. I still haven't worked it out. It's driving me crazy, to be honest. I've tried asking for help from a few people, and they haven't so far been able to find it either. It's something to do with the bullets. And anyway, I decided to have a break, and I will come back to it, obviously, and it will get done. But in the meantime, I was just browsing on World of Spectrum, and I discovered this little game here, which is called Commando. I was curious about it because I was actually looking at Commando, the Elite game, and to see how well it was rated and a few bits and pieces, and I just came across this and I thought, oh, let's have a look. And it's obviously, as you can see, it's a very simple game. It's written in BASIC, probably written by a school kid, Eric Charton. I imagine that he was only 14 or 15 when he wrote this, maybe. But believe it or not, it's actually a pretty good game. It's actually quite fun. It's quite in depth. Has some interesting elements, and overall I've quite enjoyed it. So I decided, obviously it's in French, as you can see. I do actually speak French, so I was able to follow it without any problems. But I thought, well, this kind of probably gone on the radar, under the radar, because without knowing the French, certainly at the time it would have been tricky without a dictionary. Obviously nowadays you could use Google Translate or whatever, but who's going to mess about with that for a humble little Spectrum game? So I thought, well, is it in BASIC? And if it is, then perhaps I can just translate it and see how much work would be involved. I didn't imagine it would be more than a few hours, and indeed that was the case. So let's take a look at the game. Basically, you have to infiltrate a castle, and you have to choose your men. So you've got artificier, which is basically an explosives expert. Commando, serrurier, that's a lock picker. Plongeur, that's a diver. Decryptor, that's a code breaker, I suppose, and so on. So you pick 3 guys, and depending on the ones you pick, you can progress through the adventure in a different way each time. So I'll take an explosives expert and a lock picker and a commando, like that. Okay. Then you have to pick your equipment. So you've got diving gear, which I don't need. Rope, 10-meter rope. So I'll take a couple of ropes. Then there's a rifle. Pistolet. You might think that's pistol. That's actually a submachine gun. So we'll take a couple of those. We'll take some cartridges, some dynamite, some grenades, radio. Okay. That last one, mitrailleuse, that's like a big heavy machine gun. So that would use up the whole of your weight. So the next thing you have to do then is basically choose where you want to go and how you want to get in. So we just pick any. I've checked this, and I'm pretty sure that it's different every time, so that adds to the replay value. And obviously it's drawing in a really... So this says you're in front of the door, what do you want to do? Go back to the map or go in. So we'll go in. You get the general idea. You're in room number 7. Which direction would you want to go in? Okay, so you get to wander around this castle. It's called Black Mountain Castle. And then various things can happen as you go along. So here it's saying, what do you want to do? Climb down, go left, go right. And then you'll encounter soldiers as you sort of walk around. I'm hoping that'll happen fairly soon. That said something like you couldn't go back, you've gone round in a circle, something like that. It's taking you back to the start. So we'll go in here. Let's see. this says there is a rampart here that is not climbable, I suppose. What do you want to do? Let's examine it. Do you want to try to blow up the wall? Yes. Okay, that definitely looks like a bug, doesn't it? Anyway. Well, it said it was broken. Do you want to open the safe? Yes, let's open the safe. Inside the safe, there is a piece of paper. It says, "Treasure, reveal yourself." Okay. So anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole game. This is not a walkthrough. Oh, well, we've just met a patrol, so we might as well see this. There are 3 men. What do you want to do? You have to choose quickly what to do. Attack, confront them, or hide. Let's fight them. The patrol is 2 meters from the room. Prepare. Use the machine gun. Oh, you waited too long. The patrol has arrived and you are dead. So basically, when the patrol arrives, you've got a certain amount of time. You have to decide what you want to do. If you want to hide, you want to run, you want to fight. And yeah. So it's got kind of interesting art. Just a second. Oh, it's painful, isn't it? It's got some interesting RPG elements, and it's really not a bad little game underneath. Obviously, it's got a lot of amateur elements written in BASIC and so on, but someone's put a lot of time and care into this, obviously, and that's something that I appreciate. It might not be perfect, but homebrew very rarely is it? And this is proper sort of early 80s homebrew, and I kind of have a soft spot for that just purely because of the ethic of it. And a lot of these young coders who wrote these games went on to bigger and better things in the future, so that's another reason why it's interesting from a historical point of view. So anyway, I decided to translate it, and the first thing I did obviously was to find out if it was in BASIC, and sure enough, you can just break into it, and I could have listed it there, but anyway, I decided there's no way I'm going to edit this program on the Spectrum, so I went and switched over to Basync or Basync. Never quite sure how to say that, but load the program into that and do the editing. So I'll show you how I kind of went about that. Okay, so here we are in Basync, and we've basically just, no pun intended, we have loaded the tape and got access to the code. There was no need to kind of use any kind of hacking tools or anything like that. It's just pure and simple, a basic game. It has a font, and I think that's about it. So yeah, it was just a question really of going through the code. I decided to rename the game to Commandos rather than Commando, just so that it would be distinct from obviously the Elite version. And yeah, as you can see, press any key, which direction will you go, and so on. All I did here really was just go into overtype mode and then kind of think of appropriate phrases that were more or less the same. Obviously languages, if you've done any translations, then you'll know that languages don't always express things in exactly the same way. So for example, in French, the literal translation would be something like "the door is closed with a key," so instead I've put "the door is securely locked," and I've tried to add a little bit of embellishment, a little bit of sort of poetic license, if you like, into the game, imagining myself at that age, changing a few bits and pieces. So just to add to the atmosphere and make it fun. It's not an entirely fair game. You can just be killed randomly, which is annoying, but characteristic of the time. And in addition, I've also put in a few of my patrons who are very kindly sponsoring me now. So big shout out to all you guys. I'll give you a little credit at the end of the video as well. So look out for that. Really appreciate it in this time of this pandemic that we're in at the moment. Some of you have been kind enough to kind of chip in and help me out. My school is closed. I don't have an income at the moment, so it's great to be able to get a little bit of support from you guys, and it does make a difference. It's helping me to pay the rent on my school premises so that I can go back once we open again. So fingers crossed. Anyway, yeah, we're all struggling, I know, and so I'm not complaining, but I do appreciate the help. So yeah, if you do join the Patreon and for some reason you want to be in this game, I can basically edit it here and put you in, and you can be one of the commandos making the raid on the Black Mountain Castle if that floats your boat. So yeah, there isn't a lot of coding involved here. It really was just a case of going through, overwriting, doing the translation. Most of it I was able to do without any help from Google Translate. I did dip in there once or twice. That's helped with my French a little bit. I haven't spoken French for many years. I used to live in the French Caribbean. I spent about a year there as a teacher, and my French was pretty good in those days. Even spoke a bit of Creole as well, but I haven't practiced for quite some time, and nowadays I struggle with the French a little bit because I speak Russian a lot more often, and now when I try to speak French rather, I keep slipping into Russian. It's strange. It's almost as though the French and the Russian are stored in the same area of my memory, and there's some kind of overlap there. So yeah, that's what I did. Pretty much done. Tidied it up, made a couple of changes here and there, mostly just in terms of the phrasing and the layout and stuff. I didn't want to get into changing it too much. I mean, it should be what it is. You should be able to experience it for the game that it was at the time. I mean, I'm not. Those of you that know me fairly well know I'm not big on nostalgia. I'm more interested in writing new games and doing new things. But at the same time, I kind of see this as kind of a form of archaeology, if you like, a way of going back, looking at something from the past, analyzing it, thinking about how it works, and making something new from it, if you like, as well. So yeah, that's the thing I like to do as well with games like Space Invaders and so on. Just think about exactly how they work and try to get into the mindset of the coders that were writing them at the time. So yeah, and I know that with this particular game, it's the kind of game I would have written myself at the time. 13, 14 years old, I was pretty good at BASIC, and I certainly would have enjoyed this game if I had played it. Just scroll there because God forbid I should show you some spoilers. Yeah, so that's basically it. So let's switch over and we'll have a look at the game playing in English, and you can see how it plays out, and then I'll make this available as a free download for everybody once I've ironed out any of the other bugs. Now I've spared you that beeper intro music. You just have to love the way that people use the beeper in the early 80s in BASIC programs without any ability to skip or anything else. It does make me laugh. Making the computer just make beeps and noises was a joy just in itself, wasn't it? So anyway, as you can see, we've got this translated over here. So I'll take an explosives guy, and I'll take a decoder. I've no idea what some of these guys actually do. As far as I can tell, most of them are just soldiers that you use, and the mountaineer can help you to climb the walls. I know that. You get an extra option, and the locksmith can help you unlock doors instead of blowing them up, and that can be quite good because sometimes if you blow up a door, it can attract the guards. And so, as I said, there's some nice fun elements to this game. So we don't need a diving gear. We'll take some ropes, we'll take a rifle, we'll take some submachine guns. We'll go in with the big guns, get some dynamite, some grenades. I've no idea what the radio's for, but I'll take it. Okay, so here we are. Here is a plan of the Black Mountain Castle. Where do you wish to deploy your team? Let's go in at number 6. There is no way forward here. You must find another route. Dash it. Alright then, we'll try number 5. You're in front of Tower 3. What will you do? Scale the castle wall. Do you want to use a rope? Yes. By the way, if you don't use a rope, your whole squad just dies. Because if you don't have a mountaineer. So, yes, I will definitely use a rope. They try to climb the wall without using ropes and they all die. Just fall off. So, let's go inside, yes. You find yourself in room 32. Okay. Now, there's no real logic to the way these rooms are laid out. So, after a while, you kind of get to know how they work. I haven't looked at the code close enough. It may well be that that there's a certain random element. Oh, an armed group of 3 guards at 7 meters. You've got to react quickly if it's 7 meters. Okay, so as you can see here, some text there that needs working on. Submachine gun. Oh, that was beeper. Yes, we have defeated the enemy. Room 27. Which direction? Let's go. Room 33. The door is locked. Okay. There's always a risk you can die if you do this. Oh, it's game over. Rats. Another fantastic attribute effect there. Take your time. Get ready. Here come the beepers. I'm sure. Death has come calling at the Black Mountain Castle. Your best was not enough. Would you like to have one more try? If you press no, it just goes back to the reset. It goes back to the command prompt, if you like. So I suppose I'm going to leave it there. So I hope you've enjoyed this blog. It's been a bit of fun for me. I am going to get back to doing some quotes, proper coding fairly soon. And have a look out for this one. As I said, it's more fun than I expected it to be, which is always a pleasant surprise. So, until the next time, take care, stay safe, and as always, happy coding. Bye-bye. This video would not be possible without the amazing contributions from the people whose names you can see scrolling up the screen right now. If you'd like to be one of them, you can get all my games for free. You can get some coding tips. You can even get to dictate which games I work on in the future, and you might even feature in them. So if that sounds good to you, then head over to the Patreon page. The link is just coming up now. And in the meantime, happy coding. Bye bye.